Jeez. Holy mother of a fuck. Jesus Christ. Yo, what up? So apparently Frank got a second surgery in Japan. Still in Japan, apparently.
Monogamy. The world is aglow with possibility. 365 days lie ahead of us, each one pregnant with the possibility of adventure. In the news, whispers and rumours of a strange illness born out of the east begin to swirl like the murmuration of starlings. But living in a world with the most advanced and robust healthcare systems man has ever known, surely there is nothing to worry about. It's April of 2020. The entire world is shut indoors, taking part in a live-action recreation of Stephen King's The Stand. But only the good first half and not the stupid second half. Sequestered in our homes, deprived of human contact, people naturally turn to their screens for sustenance. For many, the soft glow of an LCD became teacher, mother, confidant, and as ever-increasing numbers of people debased themselves on the hub, lover. We became like iPad babies, but fully grown iPad babies, and together we endured the Tiger King phase, the bread-making phase, and later, as many began to socially distance themselves from sanity, we endured the complete collapse of societal norms phase. Our love affair with our screens has never been as strong as it was in those reclusive, isolated months. Like many, I drew my curtains to the howling wreckage of the world and soothed myself with an unhealthy amount of YouTube. And left to the whims of the algorithm, I was funneled down a rabbit hole of legally dubious, morally questionable, but undeniably entertaining fighting organisations. There was the carnival shit like Fight Circus, and the heavy hitters like Street Beefs, Defend FC, and the dark souls of underground fighting, King of the Streets. COVID lockdowns and the subsequent explosion in YouTube viewership was a boom time for these fight clubs. All it took was the worst airborne plague since Katy Perry went into space to turn people onto the idea of DoorDash drivers and soccer moms beating the shit out of each other in hastily constructed cages. Approximately 5 years ago at time of writing, after months of exposure to these fight clubs, I decided to make one of my first attempts at a video essay, entitled The Wild World of Underground Fighting. Like most people's first attempts at creating anything on YouTube, it was more ham-fisted than a Kermit the Frog sex tape. It was poorly edited, poorly recorded, and more cheaply produced than a North Korean soap opera, but the concept itself was solid.
Everyday trade that I can take anywhere around the world, do you know what I mean? It's not something I can do till I'm 50 years old. I just realised I've got a short window and I need to express myself and my talent to the world, so it's a real hustle, man.
I feel like if there's anybody who's gonna fuck Paul up, it's gotta be Anthony Joshua. Like, come on.
Joshua, we know that whatever opponents we're going to face in the amateurs, we're going to spar with Joshua, we can expect the best. So it prepares us to be the sharpest and the best that we can be. As I've come out, Fraser's gone in, and it's good to be sharp 3 rounds. You can have another good sharp 3 rounds there.
Did Clav ever message you back?
No, he did not message me back. Thanks for the donation, nigga. Dodo donated $2, let me see.
I'm 50 today. I have now lived 600 months. In those 600 months that I've lived, I've made 50 mistakes every month that I've lived. Sometimes meaningful mistakes. You're trying your best. Please learn how to give yourself grace. You're trying. You're trying. No one is better than you. Stop putting people on a pedestal, including me. And I feel like I'm worthy, not because of the money I make or how many followers I have, because of who I am behind the scenes. I think I'm worthy, and I don't want you to put me. All of these people in this room put me on a pedestal because of who I am behind the scenes, and I don't even want them to do that. I really don't. I want you to maybe aspire to do the things that you see that I do well for yourself. That's
Gay. Isn't this guy kind of like full of shit and doesn't know what the hell he's talking about? I heard something bad about Gary Vee being a scammer or something. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
How I keep positive, I would say, is every time it gets tough, and when I feel like I don't want to do it, there is someone out there in this world, laying on a hospital bed, begging for a second chance at life. I'm sitting there healthy, with good friends, heating, light, running tap water. I don't think I have any excuse to not go hard or live life with a smile on my face.
Anthony Joshua is heading into the Jake Paul fight like a man on a mission.
Oh. Fucking AI. You fucking cocksucker.
An exploration of the world of fighting so far removed from the bright lights of the UFC or the fat purses of professional
When the fuck is YouTube gonna ban these fucking asshole AI channels? Fucking hate them.
boxing that it may as well exist on another plane of reality. A world that takes the prize out of prize fighting, that takes the sport out of combat sports. Unsanctioned fighting has lost none of its popularity in the years since my first attempt to document this world. In fact, it may be more popular than ever. King of the Streets are making their own documentary movie. The UK has its own Street Beefs clone called King of the Ring, whose fights have amassed over 39 million views. And former UFC flyweight GOAT Demetrius Johnson can routinely be spotted coaching fighters in Street Beefs. In 2025, the backyards have gone worldwide. As preparation for this video, I put out a request for anyone who has competed in an unsanctioned fight club to contact me. Of all the responders, 2% were people who were essentially just fucking around in their basement. Shout out to the guys at Fart FC. 1% was a gentleman who competes in unsanctioned medieval MMA, which is...
Are you actually on steroids? Is your name actually Richard? Do you actually live in Canada? Is Gummy actually a cat?
Yes. That is actually all true. Thanks for the donation, Ivory.
Not gonna lie, pretty fucking cool, but not really what I was looking for. As for the other 97% of
there's
respondees, this overwhelming majority
medieval
had all
combat.
fought for the organization called Street Beefs.
It's a street beef, bitch. It's a street beef, bitch.
The Street Beefs is undoubtedly the most popular of the underground fight clubs, so much so it's hard to even call it underground, having a subscriber base of 4.6 million, which means the population of the Streets of Beef is only slightly less than my entire fucking country. Started in 2008 by Christopher Scarface Wilmore, Beef Cheeks was originally intended as a way for people to settle a neighborhood dispute, sometimes referred to as a street beef. The inaugural Street Beefs fights took place on nothing more than a piebald patch of barren dirt in the backyard of a dilapidated house, and were filmed on what appears to be a Fisher-Price laugh and learn camera that's been smeared with Vaseline. The Street Beefs had a rough start, but not quite as rough as its founder. As a child, Wilmore suffered over 80% burns to his body after
Mangusta Stony Tillers, holy shit, so handsome. Let me see. My goodness.
Trick or treat! You guys so big! You guys so big!
Handsome.
We have french fries for you.
Oh, Dad, there's the cat.
Want french fry?
Yes. That's a nice deer. Very polite. Oh. Wow.
Hey.
Oh. That's a nice goat. Oh.
What are you doing on the counter, Winstone?
It's one of those honk cats.
What are you doing there?
Oh my god.
You know you're not supposed to be there.
Wow.
Winston?
You go honk. It's a good honk. Oh. It's a rabbit. My god, that's a rabbit. It's weird how they wink their noses like that. That's a good rabbit. Oh. It's a Hyrax. It's a good Hyrax. My goodness. Thanks for the donation, Mangusis. Links for VG donated $3.
I agree that it makes it easier. I disagree with framing the easy way out as a negative.
Like,
and so,
it's moral.
Yeah,
It's moral.
like I would just put this forth. We talked about the food system and addiction to foods and whatnot. Would you frame it as the easy way out to use a nicotine patch to quit smoking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I cold turkey sugar and flour, and it saved my life. I was highly addicted to sugar and flour.
I'm talking about the smoking.
Highly addicted to sugar and flour.
But for smoking, would you?
For smoking, I had that issue, and I didn't need that to quit.
No.
She's lying. She never smoked cigarettes in her fucking life. If she ever was a smoker, she would have said, oh yeah, I quit smoking cold turkey without nicotine patches. She never smoked in her entire fucking life, and she made that up. Why the like women in particular do this shit all the fucking time?
I would cold turkey and be fine, and that is the easy way. It is the easy way out.
So you would say it's you would say in a negative way that it's an easy way out for a smoker to quit smoking using Nicorette or nicotine patches.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a wild position.
Yeah.
What a dumb bitch. Like, actually a dumb bitch. I'm trans and I'm 100% female. End of discussion. Is she actually trans? That's actually hard to believe. Pretty crazy. Yeah, I would never have guessed.
Whose turn?
My turn.
Is it your turn? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Harry's working out.
Guess I should have specified it's by January 20. Vegangains, when are you hopping on steroids? Man, if I could get a hold of somebody who had knowledge on how to use steroids while mitigating risks, I would do it. I just don't know. Anyway, I don't know shit about steroid use, but I'd be open to doing it. Yeah.
Based. All right. Well, thanks for the donation. Links for VG.
Madmani and Trimp had a meeting in the White House. Before you click the links, predict what happened and let's see if they're right.
Well, I already heard about it. Apparently, Trump was pretty polite and cordial.
Nelson, he asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay, you can just say yes.
Okay.
Okay. It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
And to clarify your answer to Stephen Nelson, he asked about your...
That's a weird reaction from Trump.
We had some interesting conversation, and some of his ideas really are the same ideas that I have. But a big thing on cost, the new word is affordability. Another word is just groceries. It's sort of an old-fashioned word, but it's very accurate.
What the fuck is going on here? This Twitter link is not loading. There we go.
Awaken the people and help them to see the evil doings of Israel and the United States. May Allah awaken the people and help them to see the evil.
Don't think Trump actually said that. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Links for VG donated $3. Let me see.
Sup, chooms? How you?
I don't know if that's worth watching. Like, yeah, the sun's bad for you.
I started smoking weed.
Weed addiction. Maybe we can watch that. My life as a vegan dairy farmer.
Granola Fair. If anyone's ever in Maine, I absolutely have been writing a screenplay. You know, is.
I'm not watching 52 minutes of that, and I'm not going to bother. I already know the sun's bad for you, so. Yeah, we can watch this, though. Thanks for the donation. Links for VG.
Weed when I was like 14 years old. And I remember the first couple times, like, sneaking out of my buddy's house in the middle of the night, going out behind this local elementary school and like hitting a grav bong. And then from there, for the next couple years, it was like every couple days I would smoke weed. Pardon me, every couple weeks, like every weekend, every other weekend. My buddies and I would score some weed, maybe like a couple grams for fucking $40 or something. Get like a paper, roll it up, or like a little bowl or something, and all together, however many of us there were, 6, 7 people, get together and like smoke. Now before this, I was vehemently anti-weed, right? I remember from health class, like the stories of how it would destroy your brain or whatever it was, how it would just instantly make you the laziest person on earth, and all of your prospects and future would be out the window. And I would make these comments on YouTube, like telling people this crazy story I'd invented about my buddy's mom who forced him to smoke and he died. And I would share the story trying to like scare people into it. But then or scare people out of it. But then when I actually consumed weed, right, these first few times when I'm 14, I'm like sneaking out on this adventure. It was miraculous, right? It was like this incredible euphoria, this incredible expansion of my creativity. So much shit was hilarious, right? Cannabis is a psychedelic, and so you're borderline tripping. And so you're having these like deeply spiritual experiences every time. But after a couple of years of, just smoking every other weekend, having these little adventures, by the time I was 17, I was smoking weed every day. And now fast forward, I'm almost 28 years old, and I smoke weed almost every single day. And there have been portions of my life where I was ruled by the stuff. I like all I looked forward to was smoking. Every time I was in a social situation, every time I was doing something that was supposed to be enjoyable, right? I was looking forward to getting high. I was not present whatsoever. And so I wanted to make this video, not really sure exactly what my intention is here. Maybe just to kind of, if you're a young person or you're a person who is finding yourself in a situation where you're overcoming the lies that were given to you in your youth, in these health classes, in these DARE classes, and you're realizing maybe weed's not that bad, right? Or you're finding yourself in a place where you have been consuming weed for years and you're like looking for a way out. Maybe this is going to be helpful for you as well. I think that a big part of the reason that I ended up struggling deeply with addiction, and I would say that even now I struggle with addiction, although I'll talk a little bit about where I'm at with it as far as my current use and where I've been in the past. I think that we have these two antithetical narratives in our society. One, cannabis is bad. Marijuana is bad. Weed is bad. It destroys your brain. It destroys your future and your prospects. It is unhealthy for whatever reason. The thing is that this kind of extreme narrative is what led me to believe that I had been fully bamboozled, that weed wasn't, not only was weed not bad, weed is good, right? It's great, right? It is only expansive. It is only healthy. All of the science has been coming out talking about how cannabis is like an anti-cancer drug. It can stimulate appetite in people that struggle with chronic illness. There's all of these, health benefits. And so for a lot of people, they hear the narrative that weed is terrible, and then they swing all the way back to the other side. And that's what happened to me. I felt like I'd been lied to, that weed is actually fucking awesome. But the truth was not that the damage would happen overnight, right? The truth was not that cannabis will instantaneously destroy your brain, that cannabis will, level you out into some like literal human sludge, and you won't be able to think or function, and you're just constantly like with a drooping lip. That's not the danger. The danger is chronic use and over years, right? For me, smoking weed every day for the last 10 years has made me feel totally unconfident in my own mind. And it's probably part of the reason that I don't make YouTube videos that much, or content in general that much, or have much consistency in almost any area of my life. Perhaps aside from fitness, which weed did actually help with. So the danger was that over time, right, I've lost a real sense of being confident in my own mind, a real sense of confidence in my own memory, in my response time, in really any of the intellectual skills that I've spent these same last 10 years building. I am openly not very confident with them. I find myself regularly, I do these kind of like political debates pretty often on TikTok, and I regularly find myself scared that someone is going to say something that I'm not going to be able to act. Long term, the lack of control over your own mind, long term, the lack of your own ability to prioritize genuine social connection, genuinely, hobbies that you genuinely enjoy, right? Any kind of activity that really fulfills you and makes you feel like your soul is filled.
I've never tried nicotine sprays, so I can't compare them to lozenges. Haven't seen any research comparing the two either.
You will prioritize burning a plant and smoking it first. You will lose so much time in ways that you have no idea where it even went. Years will go by, and you will not be able to point to anything concrete that you are proud of accomplishing, right? Friendships will disappear, relationships will slip through your fingers, and you will not be able to accurately reflect on why it is that they disappeared from your life. This is the danger of ingesting cannabis on a regular basis, right? This is the danger of leaning into this culture that seems cool, right? You go into the room in the party where everybody's smoking, and there's like this immediate sense of camaraderie, right? People that smoke weed can meet other people that smoke weed and immediately generate friendships and relationships simply by virtue of this activity that's a little bit counterculture, right, that you partake in. And now I'm not saying that these things aren't cool, fucking super cool in many instances, right? I built not a career, but one of the first like businesses I ever built was doing freelance photography and videography. And it was most of the people I met just like in parties, like smoking weed, and they turned out to be a rapper or some other type of music creator. And then boom, that relationship was started. But the same thing that brought us together was the same thing that limited every single one of us. None of those people are like truly successful artists at this point. And hey, if you're watching this video, and we did stuff together back in the day, I love you and I'm proud of you. But hear my words, if you are still addicted to cannabis, number one, are you even able to acknowledge that you're addicted? Most people that are addicted to smoking weed will never admit that they're addicted. Many of them will tell you it's not possible to get addicted, right? And they're actively multi-years, but potentially decades addicted, and they'll tell you like not possible to get addicted to smoking weed, right? So all of these guys, even then I knew they were limited. Even then I could see the way that they had fears, traumas, deep-seated biases, these kinds of mental blocks that conscious awareness and time usually help a person to acknowledge and overcome. But the thing is, marijuana, I fucking hate that word, cannabis, right? That's what I call it, cannabis, that's the accurate term. It creates a chemical reliance on an external substance that requires you to prioritize that path first than any other path of problem solving. So anytime you have a trauma, you have a mental block, I don't know if I really have any, well, I'm going to tell you guys from people that were.
Natty Cope Destroyer donated $2. Androgenic destroying Natty Copes. He got into altercation recently where he was heavily criticized for promoting steroids as a means of self-improvement. Also comments on that vid are based as fuck.
Listen up, because I'm done with the fucking Copes. I genuinely get a lot of support for the message I spread. I see it grow pretty much every week. But I also run into a few idiots on the rare occasion, both online and in person, who claim I'm a bad influence. I promote unhealthy ideologies to the youth. And I think this is genuinely fucking disgusting to hear. It boils my blood. It shows how truly fucking deep and twisted the societal indoctrination has gone. Like, we genuinely live in a world filled with rap music, Cardi B, talking about guns, harmful drugs, and basically, I guess, being a prostitute.
Well,
and then alcohol is such commonplace that it's weird if you don't drink it.
Yeah, alcohol is one of the most harmful fucking drugs available to literally everybody. And it's so socially acceptable that you're seen as a weirdo if you never drink. And then people talk shit about you taking steroids. It's fucking retarded. Ben Boy donated $2. Let me see. Wow, that is a cat. Oh my god. That is a fucking cat. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy.
Despite it being one of the most physically damaging and poisonous drugs you can take. Like, tell me how that's different from a society that all injects heroin in dose equivalent to alcohol. Like, it's absurd. It's literally fucking absurd. How is that normal? How is that commonplace? We're told to smoke weed to chill, not realizing it destroys executive function, pretty much keeps you a lazy slob, turns you into the stereotype of coming home, eating pizza and watching a movie and playing video games and being complacent with that. It steals your willpower from you completely. And then we add fast food, chemically engineered to addict you. Pretty clear that, like, society's whole focus is keep you weak and powerless and try and profit off.
Hassan be like in China, literally. It's hilarious seeing her make video when she claimed I don't speak English well during your debate.
Yeah. Yep. Son's a fucking retard.
Are carnivore, high-saturated fat keto, and animal-based diets horrible for your health? First, to define, all three of these diets are low in fiber and high in red meat. The carnivore diet is an all-meat diet that primarily consists of red meats such as beef, raw milk, and organs. The high-saturated fat keto diet is a keto diet that does not restrict saturated fat intake. The animal-based diet is a low-fiber diet that primarily relies on animal products such as beef and raw milk, but also includes fruit and honey. Let's examine every reason why these low-fiber diets that are high in saturated fat animal products.
Well, we already know. Thanks for the donation, React.
Are you able to read fucking minds and know my schedule, doing tis on purpose out of sadistic urge? Cause again I wait all night, then right before go to my very early side job at 2 AM local time where I live, you go live, and when I come back 3 hours later you end the stream.
No, I think that's just a consequence of us being in different time zones. Thanks for the donation, though, why you do this, Fiji.
Off you. And then I come in. I tell people to be unnatural and be well-rounded. Optimize yourself in every single aspect. Face, height, physique, status, health, skin, hair, finances, fucking third leg, fucking brain. I tell people to become engineered specimens, sophisticated moggers, with every aspect of their life dialed in. You know, completely taking hold of all this short-term gratification bullshit. And then you have these fucking bums come in, likely doing poorly in most, if not all, of the attributes that I just mentioned. They have the audacity to tell me I spread a bad message. Yeah, all right. Have fun with your alcohol, weed, and McDonald's, little buddy. Right? I'm sure that's gone great for you. I'm sure it's gone absolutely great. Yeah, I guess people have this concept that I'm telling 13-year-old kids to blast 10 grams of tren. Not once have I ever said anything like that on my platform. And not only that, but that's so fucking ridiculous that I think you're actually retarded if you think that. If you want to learn from me specifically, that's going to be more so in the androgenic protocol. I don't feel it's merited for me to be making public imperatives about a lot of these things. Like, I understand telling 12-year-olds to blast steroids. That is probably not an ideal thing to do. I understand there's far more nuance than that. So, yeah, I understand that. But fundamentally, androgens and growth factors are nowhere fucking near as bad for your health as some of you morons think. I just think it's indoctrination. You've been indoctrinated heavily to think probably one shot of testosterone has a 50% chance of making your heart explode. Tell me right now, have you ever actually researched the tolerability and like mortality and the fertility stats, all this literature on a lot of these steroids, including testosterone? Because if the answer is no, then shut your fucking mouth and never speak again unless you become qualified on the topic. People are always going to be scared of, I guess, powerful men that have optimized themselves in every category. And I think a lot of men are always going to, unfortunately, lack the ambition to actually make something of themselves. You know, like, most of you already probably have an idea of what to do. The point is to lock the fuck in and crank your executive function into overdrive. You know, here's something interesting. So last night, I had a big group of guys all recognize me, asking me for advice, and I had a good conversation with them. And they asked how to improve. And I simply spun it to a question back on them. I asked, how many people do you know who are like Clav, perhaps me? They did and do and took everything, pretty much, but in moderation. How many people were like that and it ended badly? And every single one of these guys said, no one. They don't know anyone who's taken a bunch of action and actually had a negative outcome. None of them know fucking anyone. So that means they'd already essentially somewhat logically internalized the benefit of all this, but they couldn't emotionally internalize it. They're still scared to take action because of the deep societal conditioning. That is all. That
Plus $7,000.
Will this pay for my double jaw surgery?
Yep. Just sign this contract.
I have no idea what that's about, but thanks for the donation, Pooh.
Upon us all. So I would just say, take control over your fucking life instead of being a passenger. Don't be an extra in your own fucking movie. Like, you guys are essentially the director of your own movie, your own reality, and you're choosing to cast yourself as a fucking extra when you can cast yourself as the main fucking character. Anyway, fuck the other buffoons and fucking troglodytes that are projecting their self-hatred onto me. I genuinely believe that I have a positive message to convey, and I will continue to do so. I'll debate anyone on any of my topics, anything that I push, and
Holy shit, Calistanis are holding their referendum in Billings Estate in Ottawa on Sunday. Are you excited? This is Carney. Dude, the liberals are out of their fucking minds. Well, thanks, Carney.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ 23 ਨਵੰਬਰ ਆਟਵਾ ਵਿਖੇ ਹੋਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਰੈਫਰੈਂਡਮ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਭਾਰਤ ਦੇ ਕਬਜ਼ੇ ਚੋਂ ਆਜ਼ਾਦ ਕਰਵਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਇੱਕ
This shit is happening in Canada. This is Canada, by the way. Like, what the fuck is this? Thanks for the donation, RV.
I will fight limb for my ideologies with perfect logical precision. Okay? My ideologies will rise to the top, logically speaking, and there's nothing that any of these fucking buffoons can do to stop that. Anyway, I'll wrap it up, but...
Yeah. Like, I'm assuming it's just mostly his own fan base that's commenting, but, the anti-steroid horseshit is just fucking crazy, dude.
Just before that World's Strongest Pro Bodybuilder, I also added, what was the name of that one? That was the one that the kids used to use. It was legal for...
Superdrol.
Superdrol. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I use... See how long it's been? I've been out of the...
Everybody right now is going straight to their source. Okay, so Stan Efferding, he won the strongest bodybuilder contest on Superdrol. I got to get me some of that.
Here's what I'm going to tell you about that. That is that I wasn't any stronger at 305 pounds.
So talking about using stuff, when you were lifting those 200-pound dumbbells incline, I think you were the second human being on the planet who did that. Right? Ronnie was the first. He broke like the world like, oh, apparently it's possible. And then I saw a video of you doing that. Would you be willing to dive into the pharmacology side of a 200-pound dumbbell press?
Well, I got to tell you, here's the interesting thing. Even back in the early 90s, when I was deadlifting almost 800 and I was benching almost 600, squatting 750, I was using 2 cc's of Sustanon a week. I can remember going from 1 cc to 2 cc's and thinking that I was going to shit a liver or something, horrible was going to happen. And it was interesting how 20 years later, I heard an interview with, who was it I heard an interview with that, former Mr. Olympia, was it
Milosarchev or
no,
Jake
it'll come to me. He was just talking about how he went from 1 cc to 2 cc's, and that was a really big deal back in the early 90s. That was like it was to me, being from Oregon. It's not exactly L.A. or New Jersey at the time. New Jersey was huge. They got some monsters coming out of New Jersey. It was always
yeah.
Anyhow, and then you'd throw in, a D-ball, and usually the D-ball was 10 milligrams. Maybe if you took 2 of those, you were really killing it. So
times have changed.
Yeah, times have changed, but a couple cc's a test and 20 milligrams of D-ball probably gets you about as strong as you're going to get. Really, it's a lot of food involved with that. I couldn't afford, nor did I have HGH back in those early days in the 90s, but I don't think that does anything for strength, maybe a little for water retention.
Try to care about your audience and paying fans. Don't do that during stream, or at least don't do any effort doing the call quick. Or just not during stream and say you're busy.
It's only like a minute, so it's not that big of a deal. Thanks for the donation, though. Don't do that, poor Char Burgess.
Certainly for
perhaps
tendons, tendons and ligaments. But I can remember. Here's a perfect example. When I did the World's Strongest Pro Bodybuilder in 2010, I think it was. 2009, I was training with Mark Bell and Flex Wheeler. In 2010, I upped my doses pretty high. I was doing 750 milligrams test, 750 EQ, 750 of Deca, Nandrolone.
Oh, wow.
And then I would throw in the D-ball the last 30 days. And the reason for that I couldn't use it anymore is because it would rob my appetite. It was really a struggle. Well, just before that World's Strongest Pro Bodybuilder, I also added, what was the name of that one? That was the one that the kids used to use. It was legal for
Superdrol.
Superdrol. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I use. See how long it's been? I've been out of
everybody right now is going straight to their source. Okay, so Stan Efferding, he won the strongest bodybuilder contest on Superdrol. I got to get me some of that.
Here's what I'm going to tell you about that, is that I wasn't any stronger at 305 pounds on the stage at the World's Strongest.
Yeah, he's probably taking enough gear where like any more is not going to do anything for him. I know some people have taken Superdrol and they say they really liked it for strength.
Pro bodybuilder wearing a single ply, barely deadlifted 800.
Yeah.
And I had pulled 8 1/4 before that at 275 with no suit on. And I wasn't any stronger. But my blood work was horrendous.
Yeah.
The Superdrol in particular, I think I even did a video. I think that was the Proving It DVD that company.
Someone has been leaking Sv3rige's Telegram videos to TikTok. Here's one where he tries to explain why black people can't eat German.
Before I start this video, I just want to make it clear that I have nothing against black people. I've known many in my life, no problems at all. I've been thinking about something lately.
He has a weird thing with racism. He kind of, like, some of his views are really strange. Like, he talks about black people basically acting like fucking violent chimpanzees. But in his worldview, that's like a good thing because that's a natural way to behave. And he also fetishizes black people a lot. It's really strange. Dustin Horier, $20 signed up with Your Doctors Online, getting my first blood draw at Dynacare tomorrow. $366 for blood work anytime I want. You saved my life and wallet. Thank you so much. Also, is there a place to check with markers r/aren't covered by OHIP? Place to check with markers. Well, you can just ask them to get you blood work with whatever markers you want. It's check which aren't covered by OHIP. I'd maybe just Google it. I know IGF-1 isn't covered by OHIP. I know cystatin C isn't covered by OHIP, and I'm pretty sure GGT isn't covered by OHIP. But pretty much everything else is. I don't know if DHT is covered by OHIP. I haven't gotten that done. And I don't know if other weird markers that are never checked for, like estrone. I don't know if that is covered by OHIP. Probably not. But all the big main ones that you're going to check regularly, those are all covered by OHIP. But I just do a Google search. Thanks for the donation, though, Dustin.
You were right about Mom Donnie. Him cucking to Trump is crazy.
Well, seemed like Trump was doing a lot of cucking to Mom Donnie, too. It was weird. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy.
How did you deal with anhedonia from Rita Trutide? Are shrooms good for dysthymia, dissociation and CPTSD? For some reason, it feels like I'm watching life through a foggy haze. Also, can you unban my channel, same name as donations?
Why in the fuck wouldn't you give me a link to your YouTube channel if you want me to unban your channel? Are you fucking stupid? So I'm not gonna spend 10 minutes searching for your fucking channel name. Just give me the fucking link, you idiot. I've never had ahedonia from retatrutide, and I have no idea if mushrooms effectively treat dysthymia, disassociation, and CPTSD. I have no idea what the fuck that even is. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Let's take a so-called white family, Europeans. They move to Thailand, have a child there, and the child has a Thai passport, speaks Thai perfectly, just like the locals, grew up with the culture and so on. Let's put him in front of Thai people and...
Blink donators, when are you going to react to the new mens? What new mens? You mean Frank? I'll do that in a little bit. Thanks for the donation, Blink.
Somebody who's originally from Thailand but grew up in Belgium and doesn't speak a word Thai, doesn't have a Thai passport.
It is fucking boring. Does standing barbell shoulder press train side delts or front delts more? My standing shoulder press got better, but my lateral raises didn't. It's probably roughly even. Just because your side lateral raise hasn't improved, that doesn't mean it's not training your side delts. Just means there's not any carryover to that exercise.
Came and shot for me. And you can see I was a hot mess. One eye was like swollen shut.
Aaron P. Don't tell us, can I upload this or is it too gay?
Dad, I need to say something.
What's on your mind, son?
I love you, straight up. You're my hero, my vegan gains. I wouldn't be who I am without you.
I love you too, son. Hearing that from you means the world. I'm proud of you.
Dad?
Yeah, it's fine. It's pretty funny. Thanks for the donation, Aaron P.
Yeah, I remember. My head looked like a basketball. I was exhausted 23 hours a day. The 1 hour I was in the gym, euphoria. I was incline pressing 500 for reps. I was banging out the 200-pound dumbbells for 1 hour. 30 minutes later, when I sat down and ate, I just felt like dog crap. I never felt so terrible. And again, the blood test the day after the Olympia showed my liver enzymes were about 4 times normal. It was the worst they ever got. 10 times normal is hepatitis, for Christ's sake.
No, yeah, if you're in the 900,000 range, then you're got hepatitis. But if you're like 300, 400, but that's very common occurrence with Supertroll. People don't understand it.
Dustin Hourier donated $2. DHA, ApoB, CRP. CRP is covered. Don't know if ApoB is covered. Don't know if DHEA is covered. I don't know if they do sensitive estradiol testing. Yeah, I was finding conflicting info online on what's covered. Lol, by the way, what blood markers do you test? Oh, jeez, just normal ones. I already have a list based on Steve's vid. I know Todd Lee has different views on which markers to test. Just test basic stuff, LDL, C-reactive protein, LDL. You don't really need ApoB, like, unless you're diabetic. It's not really much of a point. But, yeah, just the basic ones. Thanks for the donation, Dustin Hourier.
But it's Superdrolls and Halo testing, of course, with the bodybuilders use pre-contest. That supposedly makes you super hard, only if you're really, really shredded.
I'll let you in on a little secret. We'll let you in on a little secret for the 200-pound dumbbells. It's kind of a circus sideshow trick. Those dumbbells are so long that if you bring them up and you angle them slightly, they'll hit your chest, and your elbow isn't anywhere near parallel. Right?
You get sumo.
So you're kind of doing 3/4 reps, right? Banging them into your chest.
Sumo incline chest press.
You got to tilt them. Now, when I trained with Flex Wheeler in 2009, and just as a side note, he had me using, less than half of what I anticipated.
Yeah, but he made you do like 20 reps on everything, I remember.
Yeah, well, in terms of, I'm going to say in terms of the performance enhancing drug protocol.
Okay, right.
I talked about this years ago. I think it was on it was in a podcast with the Mind Pump folks, and I said that it was 100 milligrams of test propionate every other day, 100 milligrams of Masteron every other day, 37.5. Back then, it was the trend was 75 milligram, right?
Yeah, the parabolinams. Yeah.
Yeah, the parabolinam. So it was 37.5 every other day.
Don't know why I'd be doing test prop.
I think the Anavar, no, it wasn't Anavar. It was Winstrol at 50 a day, and GH was I think it was 2 IUs a day. That was it. That was the whole cycle. Now, I know it probably sounds like a lot to some people, but for those of us in the know,
it sounds like Monday to some guys.
Yeah, it's pretty skinny. But here's the thing about Flex is he did have me eating 6 to 7 meals a day. I had well over 3 pounds, sometimes 4 pounds of top sirloin steak a day, 600 plus grams of carbs at least, white rice, potatoes primarily. But he wouldn't let me do powerlifting. He wouldn't let me do a single squat, bench, or deadlift for nearly 6 months before I got my pro card. The muscles that I was developing for powerlifting, they weren't. I would say they weren't weak points. You know, my glutes, my spinal erectors. You know.
Yeah, it had to come up. That it had to change. Your proportions were, of course, made for strength, and you need a little bit more sweep and a little bit more flow to your physique because you had a very dominating physique. But for bodybuilding, they need a little bit of balance. That's why you probably went with Flex Wheeler.
Yeah,
So
more range of motion, like you said, higher volume, much greater range of motion. And then he has that old Charles Glass influence where he really tries to exploit each muscle and
Congratulations, you're banned. See you later.
Isolate each muscle by manipulating your body such that you can't recruit, multiple muscles to do multi-joint movements. So even like on chest, I never went over 100-pound dumbbells training with Flex, and my chest got way bigger and fuller than it ever did doing 200-pound dumbbell presses. Way bigger. It was the fullest and biggest it ever was from training with him because he would have me arch, sternum up. I couldn't get my shoulders into the movement. I had to get my elbows really deep. I had to slow down. He had me slow down the
positions,
eccentric.
right? Yeah.
Instead of bouncing it, he had me slow down the eccentric for a 3 count. He was doing all the bodybuilding stuff, and it worked across the board. Even my legs, which have always struggled, they were the biggest thing.
This came up quite a bit, and especially when you did your first pro show, I think they were even better than when you did your pro card.
Yeah, I banned that dipshit just because he was like fucking rage baiting about steroids like a fucking loser.
Got your pro card.
Yeah, and that's from that. A lot of people say, how did you bodybuild and powerlift at the same time? And the answer is I didn't. When I was good at powerlifting, when I was good at bodybuilding.
Wanna start testosterone ASAP? What biomarkers should I check before starting, besides total test? Mine was 580 /L. Got a blood pressure monitor for my arm cause my arms are 14 inches so I figured the cuff size wouldn't make sense. Thanks VG.
Total test, doesn't really matter if you measure free test. It's not the biggest deal. Total test, estradiol, also just called E2, C-reactive protein, and hematocrit, complete red blood cell count, and LDL, HDL. And that should be fine. Thanks for the donation, though, Gummy Gum. Appreciate it.
Let all bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you, with all malice. And be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ forgave you. Ephesians 4:32. Bless you, Richard.
I wish I could use my mind to, make you burn. Just set you on fire with my mind.
Building, I was just doing one or the other, and they were very different.
Yeah, because I remember you did that, strongest bodybuilder competition with Johnny Jackson, but your totals weren't as high as where they were before. And I think Johnny Jackson has a powerlifting background as well.
Yeah.
He went back to powerlifting at one point, and you went back to powerlifting after that. And I think that's after the strongest bodybuilder competition, you did your maxes, right? All-time best. Is that correct?
Yes, I beat my all-time world record after the world's strongest pro bodybuilder.
Yeah.
At a lighter weight, I was 275. At the world's strongest pro bodybuilder, I was 305. And so about all I got out of that extra 30 pounds was some really bad blood work.
Yeah, it seems like keeping the drug protocols simple is just the way to go. And obviously avoiding orals. Orals are just kind of stupid. Yeah, Stan Efferding was pretty fucking gigantic. The guy eats like shit, but I mean, yeah, if he's telling you you don't really need more than 2 grams of gear, then you probably don't need more than 2 grams of gear. This video is kind of boring.
So I feel like I was sort of at the point of becoming debilitated, because I have had many periods of my life that were defined by debilitating cannabis use. Like that, this whole idea of using a substance as an alternative to...
Yeah, whatever, blah, 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 great. Some people like sending me really fucking boring videos, dude.
I want to give you guys a quick update. We did end up staying in Tokyo and convincing the doctor to get a second surgery. Took a lot of convincing. I had to take out a new credit card because he did want me to pay for an additional procedure, but I thought, you know, let me go through with it, and I think it was definitely for the better. I think I look a lot more than my old self.
Yeah, it'll never end.
He ended up taking out the implants that the first doctor initially put in, and he added even more plates to the medial wall. And just today at the post-op consultation, the doctor said I was his most difficult case ever. So at least so far, things looks like they worked out. I'm excited to see how the next few weeks and few months of recovery goes, but that's as much as we could do. We've kind of pushed the limit of what can be done for repairing the orbit, and I think we're in a good spot now. I had my first reconstructive surgery here in Japan on Saturday, November 8th, and a lot of you guys were DMing me asking me who the doctor was. I had a second reconstructive surgery just 2 days ago, Thursday, November 20th, and I think that one went a lot better, but guys, it's been 2 years. I've had more eye surgeries than anyone else I know, as far as I'm concerned, in regards to plastic surgery, more than anyone else on the planet. So I just want to, you know, take this step by step, and I want to present this as factually as possible. So, you know, we'll give it a few more weeks. I'll be posting a, you know, full surgery video that's probably going to be pretty long, and I'll also do just a second video explaining my experiences with the doctor and everything like that. So, you know, this is not just like, you know, a quick fire thing, fix, because that's what's gotten people into trouble.
Well, he's probably just gonna want another surgery later.
Many types of fruit in Japan are seen as gifts as opposed to regular meals, hence the very high price compared to regular fruits. So this is about 1,700 Japanese yen, which is $12. Might not seem too crazy, but this is 10 times the price that grapes would normally cost here in Japan, and we're going to try them for you guys. You can kind of see like the special wrapping. It's almost like a gift, you know, like you're presenting it. It's not just a bag of grapes. And I don't get enough views to justify buying expensive stuff, so if you guys really like this, maybe we'll get like the super duper expensive fruit at some of the exclusive stores. Like there was a $100 melon that I didn't want to buy, but
How is he so loud when eating a grape?
Who the fuck is teaching these kids to bench, or are they just being fucking stupid? Back in high school, the coaches at least made us keep our ass on the fucking bench.
There's a lot of dumb motherfuckers now who just don't give a shit about bench form. Like, I made that video about that douchebag, lying, attention-seeking jackass, Damo, who failed to bench 405, and he lifted his ass off the bench. Like, I think there's just a lot of douchebags who just want to say they benched a certain number and they just don't care, and everyone's just letting them get away with it. Especially that Damo fuckwit. I did this to cure my depression, feel bad for me, and then nobody wanted to call him out for failing the 405. Because then they'd be worried, oh, I'm fucking criticizing somebody with depression or some shit. Just gay retarded shit. Thanks for the donation, Killing Titan.
These are pretty good. I did try some red ones the other day that the skin was actually kind of dry and leathery, which really turned me off, but these are really pleasant. Like, sometimes grapes might have like a slight tannic or like acidic or like a little sharpness to them. These don't at all. They're super duper mellow, and it's a mild sweetness, and the texture is very consistent. You know, sometimes the grapes might be like a little pulp.
He's reviewing and explaining grapes to us. Yes, Frank, we know what grapes taste like.
Pulpy, and they have like something to them, but no, these are just really, really smooth and the same consistency throughout the whole grape. Delicious they are. Like, every single grape, how mildly sweet these are. They're still really, really delicious, whereas like a normal grape, those would offset it, and they sell these grapes in most supermarkets. Like,
well, he's still stupid. Jordan Basterson donated $2 shitty video to watch. Also, if you lost all gains and had to start from the beginning, would you rather be 20 pounds overweight, 20 pounds underweight? Rather be 20 pounds underweight.
And what people don't know is...
I'm not watching that. Thanks for the donation, dude. Anadrol Skittles $2. What is your end goal physique-wise? Kazuya Mishima from Tekken 8. Plans to compete? Yes. Your progress is barely 4 months on low doses is mind-blowing. Can't wait to see your size in 3 to 4 years from now. 260 lean, question mark. Also, what compounds are off limits for you? I'm a test-only guy personally. I don't have any interest in taking Tren. There's a lot of shitty oral steroids. And, like, they're not technically pro-hormones, but they were sold as pro-hormones. So, like, I don't think I'd ever bother with Superdrol. Just seems pointless. What's it called? Ment, dihydroboldenone. DHB itself, I'm not sure exactly how toxic it is for the liver. Because presumably, if you take boldenone, it 5-alpha reduces to dihydroboldenone in your own body. And boldenone is not liver toxic. It doesn't skew your liver enzymes. So I think the way DHB is made, it's always made with ethyl oleate. I haven't seen any of it being made without ethyl oleate. So I think it's the ethyl oleate or whatever the fuck else they're adding to it that's making it a problem. But yeah, DHB is something I wouldn't fuck with. I'd only do like orals pre-contest, so like Anavar, you know, something like that, or Winstrol, like 2 weeks before a show or something. But yeah, just like a lot of the oral steroids and some of the crap that was sold as pro hormones, I wouldn't bother fucking with and tren. Just seems pointless. Probably gonna stay away from nandrolone as well. Again, just because of how it like promotes gynecomastia, water retention, shit like that, doesn't seem to be great for your brain and heart either. Thanks for the donation though, Anadrol Skittles.
Dear Heavenly Father Aaron P., watcher of ingredients, protector of plant-based palates, and keeper of the sacred Red Dead Redemption poster, we gather today in the glow of your softly lit kitchen setup. Part 1 Aaron P. Prayer to be continued, U-R-R, 777,777.
Alright, well thanks for the donation, Ben Boy, appreciate it.
Today I was in a shitty mood. I took a walk on the sidewalk. I saw this ant and instantly got pisses off. So I decided to put my foot through the fucking thing, and step on it, until it was just a motionless black speck, on the fucking pavement.
Well, ants are assholes. I've been having very bad swelling and carpal tunnel in my hands today. I stopped taking growth hormone because of that. And I haven't injected any testosterone or boldenone in a few days because of it. I think it's primarily from the growth hormone, but yeah, it's super fucking annoying. It's been really bad today. I was having water retention. That was pretty, like, not bad, but, like, pretty annoying. Most of that's gone away, but, yeah, the fucking swelling in my hands and shit isn't gone, and, yeah, I'm actually getting, like, carpal tunnel. When I move my hand in certain ways, when I'm, like, picking up objects, I can feel, like, clicking in my wrists and shit. It's really annoying. Thanks for the donation, though, Killing Titan. Kid Boo donated $2, 37 seconds.
Mouthpiece, less work. Time, mouthpiece.
The hell's with bongos?
Okay, my fault. I see some fault. Fight.
Why the fuck does YouTube do this? Holy shit. Why is his mouth guard so weird?
Time. Thank you, man. Go round, man. Go round. Go round, man.
I don't know why he keeps trying to do that spinning back kick thing. He keeps missing and going off balance. Yeah, finally got him. That's definitely not one of the worst street beefs fights. Thanks for the donation, Kid Boo. Dodo donated $2. Let me see. Age restricted.
Где заканчивается граница России?
Россия заканчивается через Берингов пролив с США.
Граница России нигде не заканчивается.
And earlier, President Zelensky held an urgent call with the leaders of Britain, Germany, and France to discuss this plan. The U.S. framework was drawn up in secret by the U.S. and Russia without consultation from Kyiv or Europe. A draft seen by CNN shows the proposal includes the Kremlin's maximalist demands, requiring Kyiv to half the size of its army.
But this is just outrageous. Like, Trump has to be a Russian agent. Like, why would he think about capitulating to Russia when they're losing so badly? Just absurd. Like I'm still convinced he's a Russian agent. Oh. Wow, those kitties are talking. Hmm. Oh, catch looking at a bug. Oh no! Oh good, the squirrel got away. Those are good kitties. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Marjorie Taylor Greene just resigned from Congress. Not kidding. Look it up. The Republicans are so fucked, bro.
That's pretty funny. Who would have figured? I think it has something to do with the Epstein files. But yeah, pretty hilarious. Thanks for the donation, retard.
There's a rumor going around that before The gays who supported Muslim immigration in the UK are now reaping what they've sown.
From harassing and attacking LGBT people to burning flags and saying that gays are an abomination.
Homosexuality is a heinous, horrible thing. It's not acceptable in Islam. God created man and then he created woman.
Increases in LGBT harassment across the EU have gone up from 1/3 to over 1/2 of respondents from the years 2019 and 2024. And some might say this is because leftists are crybabies and everything is a microaggression, everything is offensive to them, everything's harassment to them. Others will say it's the extremism in today's political climate, and a very few will admit, myself included, that it's also due to the large influx of Muslim immigrants to major cities.
As we've taken over the country, officially England's over. Allahu Akbar. Yeah, what are we lining up for? This is historical. This is historical. I don't see this.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking. Just retarded. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
I've seen older clips of you. It looks like you used to go ape shit when people called you fat. Oh Richard, you're so lucky I wasn't around a couple of years ag. Because I would have rage baited the fuck out of you. I still do during your workout streams too.
That's nice. Thanks for the donation, dipshit.
After attempting to rescue his brother from a house fire, but the fire was too much for any young child to brave, the roof of the house collapsed, killing his brother and searing the young Wilmore's skin with a lifelong visual reminder of that night. Post-fire, he underwent over 100 individual surgeries and spent a year in a burn unit, hooked up to a morphine drip, which he claimed was the catalyst for an adulthood pockmarked by drug addiction.
My brother died in the house fire. There was times when I felt guilty, like maybe if I had been stronger, I could have got to him and he'd still be alive. It was something that I had a hard time dealing with. And I got into real hardcore drug abuse.
As an adult, Wilmore would spend a total of 9 years in jail for offences ranging from assault to possession.
When I was 16, I was stabbed in the throat. Here's where I had a tracheotomy. Went to prison. I was a bad person.
But it took another pointless death, this time a close friend being shot dead, for Wilmore to realise he needed to do something to try and make a positive change in his community.
He was sitting on the stoop, waiting on his son to come out, and the guy just came up and opened fire, shot him in the back. He bled out right there in the parking spot, right in front of the child. Pissed me off so bad. So I'm like, yo, man, what makes you think that you get any kind of respect for shooting somebody? Just put your hands up and fight. That was the light bulb moment.
Wilmore, who had seen friends die and almost died himself over petty disputes, decided then and there to dedicate his life to resolving these street beefs by trading gun violence for sloppy amateur fisting violence in an arena lovingly nicknamed Satan's Backyard. Street Beefs was born. While street beefs would eventually go on to host what are essentially just amateur boxing or MMA fights between people who have no actual reason to be pummeling each other, the majority of early fights were between people who had interpersonal drama, sometimes called beef. In a documentary made by the Wall Street Journal before street beefs had even hit 100,000 subscribers, we get a closer look as Scarface helps squash a beef that was
Really Marjorie Taylor Greene quick yes.
Yeah, that's good. She's a crazy bitch. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
threatening to spill over into gun violence. The dispute was resolved without even staging a fight, as Scarface just straight up paid off the debt.
I'm gonna step in and pay what he feels you owe him, and then we can squash it. I'm doing that just to stop the bullshit, because that's what we're supposed to do anyways. That's what we stand for.
But not all beefs can be settled so amicably. In another video, we meet the Iraqi
No, haven't played any Five Nights at Freddy games or watched the movie.
Assassin, who was a prominent and active fighter in the formative years of the channel. Iraqi Assassin had been receiving racist abuse, and so took it to the Street Beef's backyard to silence his harasser once and for all.
You had a dispute fight? Yes, sir. I had a beef fight with a dude who was basically was really racist to me. What happened after you guys fought? I beat his up, knocked him out, sleep. Yeah, bro. What happened after that? Then we just went our own way.
But not every beef fight was life or death. In what looks to be Street Beef's first ever bra and panties match, a half-naked woman sloppily brawls with a woman half her size in the dead of night on a hard-packed patch of dirt. Midway through the fight, we find out the reason for this particular beef match.
Yes, you did. Your sister fucking told me. And she has my shit, bitch. Call her.
One of the earliest beef fights to transcend Satan's backyard and spread to the wider internet was a beef between a martial arts YouTuber named Icy Mike and a man known only by the name bestowed upon him by the Grand Masters of North American Ninjutsu, Ninja.
Also,
let me see.
So you have TikTok just smashing our young people's brains all day long with video of carnage in Gaza. And this is why so many of us can't have a sane conversation with younger Jews, because anything that we try to say to them, they are hearing it through this wall of carnage.
Carnage carried out by Israel.
Whatever. Heard it all before. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Ron. I honestly assumed that people had stopped claiming to be real-life ninjas sometime around the mid-90s.
No.
As by that time, claiming to be a ninja was the martial arts equivalent of claiming that you can read tea leaves or use a divining rod. But even in the modern era, where MMA is more ubiquitous than microplastics, grown men still cling to their ninja daydreams. Rather unbelievably, in the year 2017 AD, somewhere in the ancient mystical land of Beckley, West Virginia, a weapon to surpass Frank Dukes was being forged. Ninja Ron first gained online notoriety by obsessively harassing another ninjutsu practitioner named Don Rowley on the old mixedmartialarts.com forums. He also wrote a book called, and I swear to God I'm not making this up, Drunken Wolverine Ninja Kung Fu, a realistic guide to street fighting. This man releasing a book called A Realistic Guide to Street Fighting is like Conor McGregor releasing a book called A Realistic Guide to Sobriety and Monogamy. Weirdly, Ron also had beef with Frank Dukes of all people, and dedicated a large portion of his time attempting to expose Frank as a fraud, not because he thought Frank's ninja claims were ridiculous, but because Frank's ninja claims weren't ridiculous enough. While Ron had a towering hate cock for Frank Dukes, on the flip side, he was like the Oasis to Ishida Kim's Beatles. Ron was such a superfan of sexual hobgoblin Kim that he even published his ninja trash manuals through Kim's own Dojo Press publishing company. Although, quick sidebar here, if you think getting published by Ishida Kim is any kind of a success indicator, it isn't. This is the man who wrote a book called The Last Christmas, in which COVID is the main antagonist that is somehow preventing Christians from being able to say Happy Christmas, and is, according to Kim, an illness so deadly that you must be tested to see if you have it. And look, I'm no medical expert, but I'm pretty sure that's how most illnesses work. Kim also straight up stole the DVD cover for a straight-to-airplane headrest movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have to get tested for HIV/AIDS as well. So I don't think that says much.
Called The Last Christmas, and passed it off as the cover for
Andrew All Skittles, donate $2. If you care about health, 19 Nors and orals are no bueno. Also check this out. It's your favorite Noble Natty.
Video about how he's wrong about steroids and about how uneducated he is on the topic.
Uneducated? That is some Reddit tier shit to say, bro. Juices act like right-wing tough guys, but the moment someone questions their gender-affirming carrots, go educate yourself, bigot. No, we are not.
I don't know how it's gender-affirming care, so I guess every pro athlete is on gender-affirming care? Okay. They're still bigger and stronger than you.
Obligated to know the most up-to-date practices to reduce side effects from your recreational drug use, to say that there are side effects and don't do it any more than we have to know how to administer Narcan to say.
What does it matter if you classify it as recreational drug use? If somebody wants to be bigger and stronger, it's up to them. Do you make money from lifting? Is there a need for you to go to the gym and lift weights? Oh, you're doing that recreationally? Okay. Like...
Don't use heroin. Our society doesn't need more education on how to use drugs safely. We need to start teaching kids to say no to instant gratification and work for what they want. You can get...
Oh, I've been exercising this whole time that I've been on steroids. Am I doing it wrong? I didn't know that the 3 hours a day of training I was doing was completely pointless since I'm on steroids.
Get great results the old-fashioned way Scott proved up here, so I'd rather focus on learning how to do that instead of harm mitigation for shortcuts.
What a fucktard. Atlas Power Shrugged is just a fucking retard.
Get legitimately angry about people taking gear and you really hold on to the fact that you're natty and that makes you better than them. You are simply jealous of the fact that they were brave enough to put a needle in their ass. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So to you young guys watching this play out, I'm not sure if you should hop on a cycle or not, ask yourself if this looks like a place that you'd like to be mentally. Do you think you'd be happy with yourself and your decisions if you were saying that people who are critical of you or against drug use must be jealous that you're brave enough?
Make one argument why somebody should not do steroids. Make one single argument. The only thing this guy can do is just use shame tactics and say, it's gender-affirming care. You're taking shortcuts. You're using the easy way out, just moralizing. Or he'll flat out lie about the potential risks. So, yeah, you're just a pussy who's afraid of needles.
To stick a needle in your ass? Or saying stuff like natties are a plague on the lifting community like some of his commenters? If that sounds like a place that you'd like to be mentally, then maybe you should hop on a cycle at year 3. Go ahead and sign up for coaching with him, learn how to do it safely.
I've been lifting since I was about 15. I'm 34 now. So, like nearly 20 years of lifting before I decided to hop on steroids.
And I'm sure he'll give you good referrals for some breast reduction surgery as well as hair transplants. But if
Oh, yes, because if you take steroids, you're just going to develop gynecomastia. Doesn't matter what doses you're taking, what compounds, you will get every single side effect imaginable. This is like me saying, oh, you shouldn't lift weights, you're going to break your spine. Like, that can happen, but it's probably not going to happen if you're not being retarded.
If not, well, some people's highest purpose in life is to be a warning for others.
Uh-huh. Well, that's nice and stupid. Thanks for the donation, Anadrol Skittles.
You don't even have to watch the video, just read though the comments.
So you have TikTok just smashing.
New faces, but same agenda. People doesn't hate Jews, they hate inhuman acts. People know the Holocaust who are not alive when it happened. Something. Obama responsible for war crime, Libya to Egypt. Yeah, whatever, great. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Is it possible for me to avoid a deload if I space out my workout days for a while? Like take 3 days off instead of 1? Deloads are boring as fuck. I always stay at RPE 8. Even on my heavy sets of 3. When I attempt sets of 3 with 365 it'll be 9.
No, that doesn't really seem to work. You need a prolonged rest period. So you're probably just gonna end up getting too jacked up and need about a week off anyway. Thanks for the donation though, Killian Titan.
For his book, so no, there is no prestige to be found in the halls of Dojo Press Publishing. Nevertheless, Ron copied Kim's ninja training videos beat for beat, and somehow even managed to have worse production values in the 2010s than Kim did in the 1980s. And I'd also just like to point out that what you're about to hear has not been edited by me in any way. This is the actual production quality of one of Ron's ninja training DVDs. All of this, alongside a healthy dose of stolen valor, because of course Ron had to steal something from Frank Dukes, led to Ron being called out by Icy Mike.
What's up, Street Beefs? This is Icy Mike from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I'm going to be at Street Beefs on August 26th to settle a beef with a guy named Ron. Now, Ron has claimed that he is a ninja, like a real ninja, and that he was a hand-to-hand combat instructor in the Army, and that he has this website and a YouTube channel, and he publishes books teaching people about hand-to-hand combat and how to fight and how to defend themselves. And I'm a self-defense instructor, and I call BS on all of it. I don't think he knows how to fight. I don't think he knows how to teach people how to fight. I don't think he knows how to teach people how to defend themselves, and I don't think he can even defend himself, because YouTube ninjas are not real.
On August 26, 2017, while the eyes of the world were focused on Mayweather vs McGregor, the real main event was happening in the Street Beef's backyard. Ninja Ron.
One comment even said the Jews are evil, the Young Turks fan base is such scum.
Yeah, they're all Nazi anti-Semites. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Ron appeared in a puff of smoke, and the fight was on. To give him credit where it's due, Ninja Ron might be the only self-professed ninja grandmaster to ever actually step up and fight someone for real on camera. But once Icy Mike started landing shots, Ron made one crucial error. He based his entire fighting style on Saturday morning cartoons. Icy Mike finished Ron in seconds and created one of the first real viral moments for Street Beefs. After
the short, fat, bald, out-of-shape guy can't fight. Who would have figured?
The loss, Ninja Ron would spiral harder than Junji Ito's sketchbook. He began posting threatening photos of himself holding ancient ninja Glock 9mm on a Facebook group called Bullshit.
Oh my god. He has that shitty high point. Yeah, that's not a Glock. That's the $80 high point. Wow, this guy is a real loser. Holy fuck.
martial arts in an effort to intimidate its owners. This eventually led to him being jailed. And honestly, I don't even have time to discuss the half of Ron's story, as his beef with Icy Mike is only the tip of the ninja iceberg. To cut a long story short, Ron was eventually committed to a mental institution, jailed for making terroristic threats to police, and worst of all, was caught in possession of child pornography.
Okay, as many of you know, April 19th, I was arrested for possession of child pornography.
So let's all thank Icy Mike once again for wrecking Ron's shit.
It's a street beef, bitch! It's a street beef, bitch!
Icy Mike vs Ninja Ron may have been one of the first viral moments for street beefs, but it wouldn't be the last. This absolute barn burner was uploaded at roughly the same time as Ron vs Mike, and unbelievably racked up over 3 million views. It would be 2 years into the life of the channel when Street Beefs hit 100,000 subscribers, and to celebrate, they finally erected some makeshift ring ropes around the arena. I think the ropes were purely decorative, however, as I've seen Soul Calibur stages that were harder to get thrown out of.
I never had such an easy victory.
Street Beefs would continue to grow in popularity, and with a slew of new subscribers and attention came upgrades, like an actual octagon, kinda, a slightly less dingy location, and more viral.
I'm starting to think that anti-Semitism is one of the worst diseases in the world. Bona fide mind virus. Uniquely adaptable and impervious to treatment.
Yeah, I don't understand why it's so rampant and prevalent, and people keep coming up with weird excuses to hate Jews. It's very strange to me. Thanks for the donation, Fanny Monsoon.
Videos, like this one that I'm assuming went viral because no one could figure out how the fuck this man's skull didn't shatter like it was made of frozen porcelain. I'm not sure who decided the siding of the octagon should be made of solid wood, but it was probably the same man who decided FaZe Clan should be in a Batman comic. I don't know why this crossover exists.
I used to like Soul Calibur. It's become complete and utter garbage at this point.
Did Batman need help running a crypto scam on the Joker, or sexting a minor on Discord?
Who's that ninja bitch in Soul Calibur? No, not... Who the fuck's the ninja? Yeah, her... Taki. Yeah. She's pretty fucking hot. Big boobas and everything. Yeah, she's one of the hottest video game babes for sure. Very nice titties and a good butt. A lot of good Dead or Alive babes too. But yeah, Taki's pretty fucking sexy.
Many reasons, this video has been harder to monetize than the average snuff film. Every upload has been hit with more copyright complaints than a Temu sweatshop, and the chances of making any money off this are next to none. Therefore, I just need to give a quick shout out firstly to my patrons, without whose support I would definitely not be able to take a risk making a video like this, and secondly, to my first and only sponsor, Clown VPN. Clown VPN is the only 100% clown operated and owned VPN.
If Penguins Zero made a video apologizing to you, admit he was wrong and dishonest, and announce that he was going vegan, not just for health reasons but also for ethical reasons, would you still hate him? Or would you reconcile? I know you hate him a lot.
Yeah, I'd still hate him and I wouldn't reconcile because I'd know he's lying and full of shit. That guy is the biggest lying, gaslighting dipshit I've ever come across. Thanks for the donation though, Killian Titan. Appreciate it.
That lets you access a library of clown-based content from all over the globe. What do you mean it's not a VPN?
JCW Lunacy. New episodes every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. For over 25 years, JCW has delivered the very best in pro wrestling entertainment, bringing fans deep storytelling drama, gut-busting comedy, and unbelievable in-ring action. From wild characters to unforgettable rivalries, don't miss a single moment. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. JCW Lunacy.
Thank you, Violent J and JCW Lunacy, for being the only clown-based indie wrestling promotion with big enough clown balls to sponsor this video. As the channel grew, Street Beefs also got their first legitimate cosign from the world of MMA, as former UFC lightweight champion Jens Pulver would routinely stream their fights on his Twitch channel, and even made a few guest appearances in Satan's backyard.
I'm here with the legend himself, Mr. Jens Pulver, the first lightweight UFC champion ever. So you came to your first Street Beefs event, man. How was it?
It was everything I thought it would be, man. What's cool is, and like I said, without doing the plug, but like I said, I've been streaming these Twitch TV Jens Pulver. I've been streaming beefs for a long time.
I spoke to a former Street Beefs competitor named Megadeth, who had an interesting interaction with Pulver before his fight.
Jens Pulver was there, and he actually almost walked in on me coming out of the porta potty. Because I already had my MMA shorts on and compression shorts and cup, and I didn't when I was going to fight, so I was coming out like doing the Velcro on my fight shorts, and Jens Pulver was walking into the porta potty. I was like, holy crap, did Jens Pulver just walk in on me?
With this growing popularity also came expansion, and in 2020, Street Beefs opened their first franchise, Street Beefs West Coast, and set the stage for one of their greatest viral moments yet, because we were about to be introduced to the legend that is Shinigami the Reaper.
That guy actually has a mean
and
spinning
now,
back kick.
Sing this.
Let me see. Gleaming in the moonlight, cool and clean, and all I've ever known, all I ever wanted. Sweet perfumes of incense, graceful rooms of alabaster stone, all I ever wanted. This is my home. With my father, mother, brother, oh so noble, oh so strong. Now I am home. Here among my trappings and belongings I belong. And if anybody doubts it, they couldn't be more wrong. I am a sovereign prince of Egypt, the son of proud history that's shown, etched on every wall. Surely this is all I ever wanted. All I ever wanted. All I ever wanted. Okay then. Thanks for the donation, don't know a good name.
My name's Danny. Everyone knows me better from Street Beefs to Shinigami. I live in the middle of nowhere in a town called Lancaster in the Mojave Desert, and I ended up kind of, just getting into Street Beefs during COVID, and it was just kind of like the only thing there was to get in. So.
Shinigami's fighting career, more so than any other, sums up for me what is so enjoyable about Street Beefs. Because over the years, Beef Streaks has given a platform to genuine characters, the likes of which could never exist in something like the UFC. To hell, even Fight Circus might balk at signing some of the Street Beefs alumni.
I hope to avenge every raccoon that's ever died. Everyone!
These are fighters who are too unpolished and strange to be a part of the mainstream, but too unique to be ignored. The living embodiment of too weird to live, too rare to die. But this is who these people are. Shinigami is not playing a character, like, say, Colby Covington, who plays the part of a right-wing podcaster with 25 subscribers and is disliked even by right-wing voters.
If you want to be, I'm going to bring you the 7th layer hair. Hell. Okay.
This is Shinigami, and speaking as an anime-loving weeb who would probably wear a headband and sleeveless gi if I thought I could pull it off, I can tell you right now that nothing about his persona is an act. It's tempting to say that Shinigami doesn't look like a martial artist, because his body type doesn't conform to what we're used to seeing in fighters. But anyone who has spent time in a gym knows that fighters don't always look like fighters. While most people might associate fighters with impossibly jacked, Mark Kerr-esque pulsating flesh tanks, the average person in the gym is, well, an average person. There is no default template that all fighters must conform to. See, for example, Roy Nelson, or out-of-camp Paddy Pimblett. But having said all that, and with all due respect, when you first see Shinigami, he looks like a sketch comedy parody of a martial artist. With his karate gi, black belt, and headband that is rumoured to contain the source of his power, Shinigami looks like Rex Kwon Do cosplaying as Master Ken. And in his debut fight, you can feel this sentiment simmering in the crowd. There is an undercurrent of subtle mockery.
Look down there and I'm just sitting there like, what am I doing here? What am I really doing here? This is kind of crazy. I'm in somebody's backyard and there's hay bales, they didn't even have a cage for the West Coast yet. And I just see all these people that look like they just got out of prison or something. But you're right. Everybody was looking at me, especially the weight didn't help either. I was 330 pounds and wearing a gi and a red headband. I heard it. I didn't hear it during the fight, but afterwards, for like.
Can you attempt to sing/rap this, please?
Okay, I can try. Thanks for the donation. I'm obviously not going to be able to keep up with this dude. Like, that's impossible. I couldn't even talk this fast if I was just making up words randomly. Thanks for the donation, not rap god, but better.
How much do I have to pay you for you to reenact this accurately? I'll pay you $70 right now. Come on, Richard. $70.
But I was about to play online matches. Well, the full game isn't released, so that would be impossible. And it literally says in the fucking title, campaign. So why would you think that? I can tell you why. It's because you're a fucking idiot. Pay me the $70 first, and then I'll do it. Thanks for the donation, Killian Titan.
Get him reunited, heckling and all that.
Until Shinigami did something more unexpected than a circle pit at a Coldplay concert.
He does his intro, I do my intro, and the ref says go, and I'm like, oh crap. I really signed a paper saying I have no control over this footage whatsoever, and if I mess up now looking like this, people are really going to be just talking smack and it's going to look horrible. And then I'm like, let's just go. So I throw a little, late kick, but I was kind of nervous at that point, just a split second until I saw him try to block the goal kick. And I'm like, all right, let's see what happens if I flick my foot out again.
Shinigami would silence those doubters again that same day, competing in and winning 2 matches in the first ever Street Beef's West Coast event. His viral head kick knockout would rack up 5 million views. Despite having the appearance...
He can actually fight, and for a fat dude, 330 pounds, he can fucking move.
...of an AI prompt for What If Samwise Gamgee Was the Karate Kid, Shinigami was fucking legit. Again and again, he silenced the doubters with a string of wins, and became the unlikely poster boy for Street Beefs. When you heard Shinigami shout out his girl Rachel,
shout out to my girl Rachel, shout out to my girl Rachel, shout out Rachel, shout out Rachel, shout out Rachel!
You knew shit was going down harder than the PlayStation Network. But even in Satan's backyard, there are levels to this. In 2022, Shinigami was matched up with a boxer named Nasty Native, and unfortunately for Shinny, even the energy stored up in his iconic headband couldn't save him in this fight. For what it's worth, Nasty Native, real name Cody Beck, would turn pro soon after this fight, and currently has a professional MMA record of 2-4, which might explain the very obvious skill discrepancy in this fight. Shinigami would bounce back in a fight that is the kind of video you should pull up if anyone ever asks you, what's the fighting equivalent of that newspaper headline, woman in sumo wrestler suit assaulted her ex-girlfriend in gay pub after she waved at a man dressed as a Snickers bar? Shinigami vs Unga Bunga is a fever dream of fistic fuckery, in which Shinigami looks like he's been upgraded from Mall Ninja to Mall Samurai, and is introduced by a man cosplaying as Barney Rubble, while Michael Myers is working as a corner man. If there is a more unhinged backdrop to a fistfight, I've yet to see it. Shinigami's most recent fight took place only days before I write this, in what may be the most anime-inspired matchup Street Beefs has ever seen.
Watch your step, poor Richard. Donate $2. Be careful, watch out. Your area may be more dangerous than you thought.
Tonight, a man found stabbed to death in the West End.
It does make you wonder, how safe exactly you are.
An 18-year-old charged with second-degree murder. An early morning fire destroys a home.
Yeah, there's just more crack addicts in downtown Ottawa. It happens when you have the Liberals in government. Thanks for the donation. Watch your step, poor Richard. Oh, damn, you actually did it.
Don't let me down. I thought you were gonna play online matches.
Alright, let me do my best here. But I was about to play online matches. Well, the full game isn't released, so that would be impossible, and it literally says in the fucking title, campaign. So why would you think that? I can tell you why. It's because you're a fucking idiot! Let's see, I thought you were gonna play online matches. Well, oh wait, I forgot already. But I was about to play online matches. Well, the full game isn't released, so that would be impossible, and it literally says... Okay. think I got it now. Thought you were going to play online matches. Well, the full game isn't released yet, so that would be impossible. And it literally says in the fucking title, campaign. So why would you think that? I'll tell you why. It's because you're a fucking idiot! There you go. I think that was pretty good. Thanks for the donation, Killian Titan.
Scene, it was Power Headband versus Power Headband, as Shinigami fought a man named Ryu Senin. Ryu had previously beaten Shinigami in a modified rules fight that was more akin to the rule set for kickboxing or karate combat than his usual MMA-oriented fights. The majority of Shinny's wins are via submission, and while I appreciate that he wanted to put his karate background to the test with these modified rules fights, these fights weren't exactly playing to his strengths, and that showed in the results. Shinny is now 0-2 against Ryu Senin. But if the point I'm trying to make isn't obvious by now, it's that while his looks may lead you to believe otherwise, Shinigami is a fighter to his core. His arrival in Street Beefs may have been met with jeers, but in ramshackle arenas made of splintered pallets, on sand, on gravel-packed dirt, in cages and backyards, whether winning or losing, time after time he proved that a fighter fights while others simply speak. For little more than a cheap belt and his own pride, Danny Uribe, aka Shinigami the Reaper, has fought harder and with more passion than others have fought for millions.
Shout out Rachel!
On November 1st, 2025, which is either a few months in the future or long since past depending on when you watch this, Shinigami will finally be making his pro MMA debut, and I'm going to be there. In spirit. But if you're watching his pro debut, you might notice that alongside his girl Rachel, there's a shout out to a name who may be familiar to you. That's right, Shinigami has a new sponsor. In the greatest mashup since Jeff Goldblum met that fly, I, Napoleon Bonaparte, am the latest and proudest sponsor for Shinigami the Reaper. His wins are my wins, his losses are my losses, and with this partnership, we form like martial arts Voltron to become Napo Shini Blonagami. In 2020 also saw the arrival of a man named David Wilson, aka Baby Hulk. It's not difficult to see exactly why Baby Hulk's videos went viral, as at approximately 5 feet tall, Hulk is a full 2 inches shorter than even the shortest ever UFC flyweight, Hector Sandoval. These are the kind of fights that make you think Street Beefs may want to consider introducing height classes. In every single fight, Hulk is on the wrong end of a size discrepancy heretofore only seen in my Vladislav Gallagher fanfiction. But this is where Street Beef's willingness to give anyone a chance to fight paid off yet again. Because much like Shinigami, Hulk is about as legit as they come. His perennial status as David to literally everyone else's Goliath ironically made him arguably the single biggest star Street Beefs has ever produced. Every single video of his has millions of views, and his fight with a man named Viking is Street Beef's most watched video of all time by an absolutely colossal margin. Hulk vs Viking has at time of writing been viewed 51 million times, which is more than double that of its closest rival, Striker vs Caveman, with 21 million views. Wilson left Satan's backyard for the world of pro MMA, making his debut in 2022. With almost 70 million views to his name, Hulk's departure was like a backyard Beyonce, leaving the rest of those bums in Destiny's Child to play around in the mud. But queef streaks wouldn't have to wait long to fill the void left by Hulk's departure, as 2023 would be the year of the man who, despite only having a fraction of Hulk's views, would go on to become arguably the biggest breakout star Street Beefs has ever seen.
Death Sentence is unbeatable, unstoppable, a real-life Super Saiyan, and a ninja warrior killer. He is not
Yeah, this guy's a literal retard.
to be trifled with. Don't look at him the wrong way, or it's over for you. And soon the whole world will know this, because I'm a force to be reckoned with, and I will show that. Forget John Jones, forget all of them. The new star and the new killer and the future warrior that everybody's gonna fear is me. That is who Death Sentence is, and soon the whole world's gonna see it.
Satan's Back Passage has seen more than its fair share of people who can't fight. In fact, people who can't fight but are doggedly determined to windmill around like a cartoon dust cloud of punches navigating a tetanus obstacle course could have been an alternative name for the channel. But whereas most people who couldn't fight would generally be one-and-done competitors destined to be forgotten by connoisseurs of backyard fisting forever, only one man in Street Beef's history has managed to gain a cult following out of being genuinely terrible at fighting. That man is Death Sentence. Death Sentence, real name Mirage Johnson, made his Street Beefs debut in 2023. As debuts go, this one was definitely more metal magic than Appetite for Destruction. In a video titled "He Has the Power of Anime on His Side," Death Sentence reminds everyone what's his motherfucking name and how long it will take him to finish this fight.
I am Death Sentence, and I'm gonna end this in 2 seconds!
I'm not going to lie and pretend I've been some ride or die Death Sentence fan since day one, because in reality, I was late to this particular hype train. I'd heard the name and seen people talk about him online, but as recently as this year, I'd never actually sat down and watched the man fight. After initially underestimating Shinigami based on his anime stylings, I was wary of doing the same with Death Sentence. Given all the chatter about him online, I assumed his boast of ending this in 2 seconds was a statement of intent not to be taken lightly. I was genuinely a little worried for his opponent, and then I watched the fight.
Fight! Watch you! Watch you!
Okay, so let's just pause this right here.
Yeah.
It becomes apparent very early on that Death Sentence has no realistic idea of how to fight. He leaps at his opponent with the poise and grace of a drunken rioter, his game plan seemingly that if he fills enough space with fast-moving body parts, his opponent will eventually collide with something thanks to Newton's first law of motion. While this Newtonian-based approach to fighting was a bold strategy, it had a worse payoff than the average meme coin. Death's opponent, a man named Surfo the Last Wavebender, had a more grounded approach to combat, eschewing any hint of weebery and submitting Death with a rear naked choke about 30 seconds in. After all the hype, I have to admit I was disappointed. But maybe he was having an off day, or holding back, or maybe the power of anime was actually on the side of his opponent, or maybe the power of anime was on his side, but the anime in question was Dark Cat.
I'd like to see you after school for a little while today. 3:30, room 2B.
Oh man, what a bitch!
Surely there must be some match where he pulls off.
Dark Cat anime. English dub full movie. Okay, so this is like an OVA. This is a very weird trailer. Wonder if this is before they had any dubbing. The fuck? Yeah, it's like they put this trailer together before they dubbed any of the footage. What in the fuck?
Are you looking for an anime that'll make you go, why did I spend 50 minutes watching that this Halloween? Then look no further of the times, you know, early 90s, 80s, OVA to Dark Cat. I'm not 100% sure they're human because look at them. I don't think these keep watching even done. It's for... let's go.
Okay, that looks very stupid. I might have to watch this.
Of some amazing 360 no-scope head kick KO, and that's the reason why he became so popular. This was what I told myself as I prepared to watch his next fight.
Let's work! What the hell is that?
So how does a man with the fighting ability of a narcoleptic coma patient become the face of street beefs? Well, despite the fact that the name Death Sentence appears to apply to him and not his opponents, Death's pure love of fighting and infectious enthusiasm is likely what's propelled him to become one of the most popular fighters in street beefs history. This is a man who trained himself to fight by watching anime and playing Batman Arkham Asylum. At least I hope it was Arkham Asylum and not Arkham Knight. Otherwise Death is going to spend most of his fights waiting for his car to show up and do all the fighting for him.
Yeah, I've seen Yu Yu Hakusho. It's really good.
But I'm not making that up. These are his own words.
I like to put on Batman Arkham City and emulate what he's doing. I memorize the moves in my head, and I practice the moves at least 8 times.
Honestly, it's so strange that these SJWs who claim to be fighting for progress are so hateful and racist.
Well, they're not fighting for progress. They're just retarded. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
And I mark how many times I practice in a book, and I do that for all of the videos I watch.
And let me just be clear on this for anyone who's confused.
Yeah, so this guy's
playing
retarded.
Arkham City to train for a fight is like watching RoboCop to prepare for a visit to Detroit. Normally, when people are delusional about their combat abilities, it just makes it all the more enjoyable when they get a dose of fistic reality, like when Mark Kerr bludgeoned that man wearing a diaper who claimed to have trained Army Bear pit fighting, whatever the fuck that is. But with Death Sentence, his joyous belief in these anime-infused delusions just makes you want to root for him to finally win a fight. This isn't like George Dillman or Ishida Kim trying to convince people that they have the ungodly power of the dim mak in order to sell you an instructional video or a tell-all biography of their horny ninja escapades. This is just a kid who's watched too much anime and wanted to emulate his heroes. But unfortunately, anime isn't real.
What's up with that bitchy woman? She's got quite an attitude.
And despite having an inspiring level of self-belief that some might say borders on self-delusion, he would fail time after time after time. Yet through all this, he never showed a lack of heart or enthusiasm, always seemingly convinced that this time he really would end it in 2 seconds, probably with a Hadouken or a Batarang or something.
I am Death Skinner! Yes, sir! White Wolf! Prepare to be slaughtered, like the pig you are.
But the level of the average street...
I am having really bad pain in my forearms. Really bad. I ran my arms under a cold tap for a while, and that kind of helped for a little bit, but they're really hurting. My hands aren't even going numb yet, but my, like, forearms are hurting like shit. They feel, like, swollen and fucked up. It's really annoying. I don't know why it's so bad today. It was better yesterday, and, like, today it's just really bad.
Beef's competitor nowadays is far from the early days of whatever this shit is.
Bitch, this is street beef, bitch!
And now pretty much everyone who steps into Satan's backyard has a baseline of competency when it comes to fighting. Everyone, that is, except for Death Sentence. Speaking as someone who also went viral thanks to Street Beefs, Shinigami had some insight into this.
In reality, people only go viral for like 3 things. Being really good at something, being really bad at something, or being unexpectedly good at something.
And to my mind, Death Sentence had absolutely gone viral for being genuinely terrible at fighting. It's at this point in the story where Street Beef's second big-name cosign came about, because former ONE and UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Johnson had been streaming and reacting to Street Beef's matches for some time, and Death Sentence's in particular. If the online discourse surrounding him is anything to go by, it seems that the people who watch Death's videos are split into 2 camps. Those who want to laugh at a delusional kid getting routinely choked out, and genuine fans who just really want to see him get a win. Demetrius Johnson fell into the latter camp. Well, okay, maybe he had a toe in both. Either way, DJ took Death under his wing and embarked upon a training arc dedicated to ensuring Death Sentence's real-life fighting abilities would one day be on par with his imaginary fighting abilities. It has not gone great. In a clip that should probably come with a trigger warning for near-fatal levels of second-hand embarrassment, Death struggles to differentiate left from right and showed a worse aptitude for boxing than stormtroopers have for marksmanship.
1, 2, left hook. Oh, left hook. Yep.
Got for real.
Nope, no. 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, and then 3?
That's a right hook. That's a 4.
This?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. 1, 2, 3.
Wait, left hand first.
Oh.
So this?
1,
okay.
2, 3. Okay. You ready? Go.
Okay, hold on.
If I was training somebody and I saw this, I'd be like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore.
Funny or not?
Probably not funny, but let me see.
Look at the baby. What a cute little baby. Oh, it's a baby.
Yeah, not funny. And this is coming from somebody who enjoys having babies die. Thanks for the donation, Jessica.
Oh, bro, the 1-2 combination is the hardest shit ever.
But this was but one clip out of a training arc that spanned 5 months, 2 fights, and 3 hour-long videos, which I don't really want to spend time breaking down, so that can only mean one thing. This shit needs a montage.
Standing Wolf 7. I know it's so weird how they claim to support the LGBT community and yet they also support Hamas who would kill the queer community on sight.
Well, it's all just communist brain rot propaganda that they've been fed. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo. God damn it.
After many weeks of attempted weightlifting, and probably inscribing L and O on his gloves, Death Sentence had his first fight with DJ in his corner. His opponent was a man who goes by the name Illuminate the State, who, it should be noted, has a record in Street Beefs of 1 win, 10 losses. Death Sentence was 0 wins, 4 losses.
I am Come, death! I'm gonna make sure your death is slow and painful.
Death sentence versus Illuminate the State is more painful to sit through than a Will Smith freestyle.
And even though I'm an action star, sometimes I'm an act bizarre.
If you have any love for MMA or combat sports in general,
dude, this is after he was training with Demetrius Johnson,
then this is like watching Julius Caesar burning the Library of Alexandria. After a minute or so of slapping and windmilling, the pair collapse in a tangle of twisted limbs like sex-starved teenagers. Death Sentence attempts what looks to be a bulldog choke before a solitary limp-wristed slap to the back of the head makes Illuminate the State rage quit the match. And while it may have been 2 minutes of some of the worst MMA witnessed by mankind, the eruption of joy after Death Sentence is proclaimed the winner is not only the biggest crowd pop Street Beefs has ever heard, but just a genuinely joyous moment.
I wonder if this guy, like, has a carer or something, or if he just lives at, like, he has to live at home with his parents. I can't see this guy even working a menial labor job. Like, he's so weak and skinny. Like, this guy isn't picking up boxes and moving them around.
Around this time, we were also introduced to a compatriot of death by the name of Winged C.
Hi, chat. I'm Wing C, 140. I was just at a furry rave last night, so honestly, I'm tired as hell. But it's for the main character lore, so I'm gonna dance.
Winged C had been competing in Street Beefs for some time, but really saw his popularity skyrocket after allying himself with Death Sentence. Winged C is like the Armageddon to Death Sentence's Deep Impact. He has all the self-confidence, arrogance, and memeability of Death, but the key difference is, Winged C can actually fight. Despite looking like a joke character from a Dead or Alive game, Winged C fights like the joke character from a Dead or Alive game. Utilizing his background as a breakdancer, C is constantly changing stances, moving awkwardly, taunting opponents, and attacking from weirder angles than an Escher drawing of Anderson Silva. His fights are genuinely enjoyable to watch, because on top of his weird fighting style, Winged C also has power. Meaning that in every one of his fights, there's a chance you might get to see a man wearing a pair of 1990s raver girl wings breakdance his way into knocking someone out cold. And that shit is always worth a click. Whereas Death Sentence's over-the-top self-confidence can be kind of endearing for a man with the fighting ability of a newborn foal, Winged C is, well, he's a lot. Whether it's an act for the cameras or not, I can't tell, but C acts like he is constantly talking to a non-existent chat lobby.
Chat! That was go to chat! Hi, chat. Time to get naked, chat. Chat!
This man is the living embodiment of Mr. Beast's editing style. He is a walking vine boom. In a clip that has since gone viral, C irritates and disrespects DJ to the point where DJ drops him with a head kick just to shut him up for 2 minutes.
Chat, make him hit harder. Yes. Good boy, good boy. Yeah, good boy.
He kept saying good boy. Good boy. Does he realize I'm fucking 30 years old and I've done this for 20 fucking years?
Hi, ultimate punch. Just in. Down, chat. That was golden.
You see what I mean? There's no point to go hard. I gotta put some respect on it. This guy's gotta have some type of respect, though. I'll do a fucking high kick. It landed. I knew it was gonna fucking land. And he gets dropped.
Oh, well, I guess now we know what the C stands for. A few months after his win over Illuminate the State, Death Sentence would fight, and lose, to a kid named Zachary.
I'm about to fuck you up. I want you to pass. I'm ready. Oh God, I'm ready.
While Death's technique did look somewhat improved in that he actually attempted a real submission here, instead of just wrenching the first body part he came into contact with, everything else was still classic Death Sentence. Despite having trained for 5 months with a world-class coach, the end result of all that training was Death charging at Zachary, swinging his arms like he was fending off a horde of invisible wasps. And this leads us to one of the more uncomfortable facets of Street Beefs, in that there's a sense of exploitation in letting a man with zero fighting abilities fight simply because it gets views. It was obvious from his debut that he had never fought before, yet he was allowed to go 0-4 until Mighty Mouse came along and gave him his first session of non-Batman based training. There is a danger in letting someone so unskilled step into a fight, and all the memes about him being a destroyer of worlds or whatever aren't going to be funny when he shit talks himself into getting seriously hurt by someone with even a basic level of fighting experience. Well, it might be a little funny. It's unknown where the Death Sentence experiment goes from here. DJ can't train him for free forever, and part of me feels that DJ's attempts to turn him into just another MMA fighter are actually removing what people loved about him in the first place. He didn't gain popularity because of slick boxing or ground game. His virality was solely down to the fact that this kid walked, talked, and acted like the reincarnation of Count Dante, but fought like a 6-year-old on a sugar rush who's just found a cool stick. Trying to turn him into a proper MMA fighter is admirable, but it's also a bit like trying to remaster Deadly Premonition. If you remove all the bugs, glitches, and weirdness, and hire some professional voice actors to re-record all the dialogue, yes, you've technically improved it, but you've also erased what made it so captivating to begin with. Viral moments like those of Shinigami, Death Sentence or Baby Hulk were both blessing and curse for beefsteaks. While these fights drew millions of eyes to the channel, over time, this became what people expected of street beefs. The channel has gone from beef fights such as this one, where a guy got sent to jail because his opponent's girlfriend snitched on him, to anime-based meme fights. There are so few beef fights now that the channel should probably just rename itself to Sv3rige. Once Icy Mike killed that ninja, all of this was inevitable. Man cannot live on beef alone. This shift in tastes has been reflected in the channel's view counts. Most recent uploads tend to max out at around 30 to 50,000 views. Videos that do better tend to be either compilations or winged C videos. But a single compilation video of Death Sentence's fights has more views than every single upload in the last month combined. And that's a shame, because I want Sv3rige to continue to exist for as long as possible. While it may seem like just a fistic meme factory in 2025, Sv3rige is important. This is an organization that, for better or worse, will let pretty much any consenting adults fight.
Yeah, that's part of the appeal for street beefs. I would say like that's like the main thing about street beefs compared to like sanctioned fights, where there's a lot of stuff you got to go through. You got to get paperwork. You got to sometimes they won't let you fight if you don't even have like the right gym. But street beefs is kind of once you get there, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a fight.
And while that can be questionable when it comes to allowing someone like Death Sentence to take 4 hard losses before he ever did a single day of training that didn't involve trying to S-rank the Arkham Asylum challenge rooms, but for people like Sabrina Brown, who fights under the name Eternal, organizations like Street Beefs are vital, as no other organization will sanction fights for trans people.
Well, see, in my case, I can't get a sanctioned fight, and so yeah, I just end up doing the unsanctioned fights just because there's a lot less paperwork and everything. There's a lot less like official hard rules. Like I was supposed to have a pro fight like 3 years ago, and it ended up not happening at the last second just because the commission said that I had to fight topless, which I was like, I'm not going to do that.
While the idea of underground fight clubs conjures up images of people fisting each other to death in a green-filtered basement, everyone I spoke to for this video had the same conclusion. Street Beefs feels like a community.
You really notice there's not as many beef fights as there used to be. It's mostly people going there to compete or use it as a platform to promote themselves because they welcome everybody. You know, and there's still beef fights, and the main thing is it's a brotherhood, it's about community, and it's actually about positivity. So in a lot of ways, it is, you know, pretty progressive for fight words.
Ninja Ron may have felt differently, but when I went to ask him, I couldn't find him anywhere. Really, the only bad thing I heard about Street Beefs through all of this was from Megadeth's post-fight medical attention, which somehow did more damage to him than the entire fight.
But they taped up the cut at the end of the night, and this is one of the negatives, is they put the tape kind of on my bottom eyelid, so as my friend is driving me home and I blink, the tape cuts my eyeball. I don't notice how bad it is. I think maybe I just got some dirt in my eye or something from fighting on the ground. And then the whole night, I don't even feel the cut on my eye, or the cut on my cheek, because the eye hurts so bad. So then I actually drove myself to the emergency room that morning and got it looked at, and sure enough, they said I had a corneal abrasion. I think they said it almost looked like a paper cut on my eyeball. Maybe the ringside physicians could have been a little better.
What started off in Scarface's backyard as a place for gangsters to settle disputes has now gone global and given people of every stripe a chance to compete. And while the original message of guns down, gloves up in the era of Winged C and Death Sentence seems about as archaic a concept as paying for pornography, I hope Satan's Back Passage remains open to everyone for a long time to come.
What a bitch!
Welcome back to the Blown Apart Shopping Network. Napoleon, it's so great to have you back at BSN. I hear you have something super...
And somewhere in the forlorn hellscape that is Northern England, a man using the assumed name of Lee is attempting to bring his own underground fight club to life. Lee has been hooked on watching unsanctioned fight clubs on YouTube since the initial COVID lockdowns of 2020, and now, 3 years later, has taken it upon himself to start his own.
I just remember just flicking through YouTube in lockdown, and I come across this, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I was just watching it for about 7 hours straight, just fight after fight after fight. Just everything, all the hooligans there with the masks on and everything, it's just, yeah, crazy, man.
But while organisations like Backstreet Beefs have rules, referees, and at least made an attempt to build something that resembles an octagon, even if half of it is fucking plywood, Lee is arranging a no-rule street fight to be held on whatever patch of God's cursed soil there is in this wasteland of Stockton-on-Tees. Eventually, a location is chosen. The fight is set to take place under a bridge, as if its competitors were common rock trolls. You'll notice I said fight, singular, and not fights, plural. And that's because Lee is not organising a fight club, in so much as he is arranging a fight, singular. As you might expect for a no-rules underground fight arranged by a man in a tracksuit, weight classes are an afterthought, and there's a size difference that would make Kelvin Gastelum hit the Ozempic. As far as each fighter's level of experience goes, the tale of the tape is, Christ only knows. The fight itself is nasty, brutish, and short. After the initial windmilling phase, the fight goes to the ground, or more accurately, to the foot-deep pool of runoff rainwater the men are brawling in. The larger competitor lands several full-force blows to the back of the head. A rule violation that would bring a regular fight to a shuddering halt, but not this affront to athletic commissions everywhere. After what is half rear-naked choke, half attempted drowning, his opponent taps out. And that's it. The handful of people in attendance go their separate ways, and the makeshift arena is now just a shabby, rain-sodden underpass once more. What inspires random guys to attempt to stage a kumite in a car park? Well, the answer to that is pretty straightforward. It's King of the Streets.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
King of the Streets is a no-rules, anything-goes underground fight club that originated in Sweden. And that's kind of all we know about it, so yeah, I guess that's it for this video. Okay, so there's probably a little more to this story that we should discuss. King of the Streets was founded in Sweden, and it is true that outside of its inner circle, not much is known about its hierarchy or operations. You won't find any Scarface-esque characters hogging the limelight here. In fact, most people involved with KOTS go out of their way to hide their identity.
JD Vance's wife Usher photographed today without her wedding ring, which is noted as highly unusual of her. Vance will be married to Erica Kirk by the time the presidential campaign races get going.
Yeah, and she'll arrange his death and take his money. Yeah, that is weird. That is weird indeed. JD Vance is a fucking retard. I don't blame her. Thanks for the donation though, retard.
To the point that every fight is filled with more balaclavas than the 1996 IRA fall catalogue. There are several reasons why you might not want to be associated publicly with running a fight club like King of the Streets, and we'll get to those soon, but for now, let's just get into what exactly King of the Streets is all about. King of the Streets, or COTS for short, is a no-rules fight club that makes street beefs look like a rambunctious episode of the Teletubbies. Biting, eye gouging, low blows, soccer kicks with shoes on, and fights take place on concrete.
There's no rules around. Head dogs, eye gouge, food, everything, whatever you want, allowed. Okay, don't, if you're in the drawing, don't expect us to stop it. If you feel to grab the fence, you can grab the fence. Okay, any questions? Motherfucking go! Yes!
At every turn, COTS seems to be going out of its way to be edgier than Shadow the Hedgehog at the Grand Canyon, but with over 1.5 million subscribers and even their own pay-per-views, it's a shtick that's absolutely working. From the outset, I have to give credit where it's due to COTS editors and videographers, because it's immediately apparent that this does not look or sound like any other fight club, aside from, well, Fight Club. Street Beef's early fights were filmed on phones and uploaded straight to YouTube, with only the bare minimum of editing taking place. Things have improved in recent years with better cameras and editing, but it's still a very basic look and feel. COTS, on the other hand, are out here using 4K cameras, drone cameras, film quality color grading and photography. Also, you can see eye gouges and dick punching in 4K HDR. Everything in COTS, from its music choices to its camera work to its glitched out editing style, seems to have been chosen specifically to cause the maximum amount of anxiety and discomfort in the viewer. If you look at how the average UFC fight is filmed, the cameras are outside of the octagon looking down at the fighters and use a relatively wide field of view so that you can see the fighters and their positions relevant to the octagon at all times. COTS fights are filmed as close to the fighters as possible, with cameras positioned so that they are often looking up at the fighters, giving the fights a far more up-close, claustrophobic, and POV vibe. The locations that these fights take place in are also chosen pretty specifically to up the intimidation factor. Abandoned buildings, warehouses, car parks, rooftops, an empty hockey rink. Abandoned, forgotten, or derelict spaces. The kind of places in which a body could lie undiscovered for months.
Would you risk pretty life for $500,000? Yes, let's do it. Okay, good luck, man. You're braver than me. This is gonna be crazy.
In their own words, COTS describe themselves as no decisions, no rules, no rounds. The most notorious fight club, the one and only place for the unwanted ones, delivering the most stressed out and fucked up environment you can find. If Street Beefs is a light-hearted community of oddballs who enjoy fighting, COTS is a nihilistic, misanthropic celebration of violence for the sake of violence. COTS was founded in Gothenburg, Sweden around 2013, primarily as a fight club for hooligans. And now I realize that according to my demographics, over 50% of my audience is American, and you guys probably think a hooligan is a character in a Charles Dickens novel that is now a Broadway musical. But hooligans are a bit more serious than that. Hooligan as a term dates back to the 1800s, but this isn't that deep a history lesson, so let's skip ahead to the 1980s.
I think I'm gonna have to end the stream. My hands and forearms are hurting like hell. I have to like soak my arms in cold water. This is like unbearable. So yeah, hopefully I don't have this anymore tomorrow. but I'll try to stream tomorrow. This is just very, very bad. I don't know what the hell the problem is, but hope you all had fun. Yeah, I might want to do a deload. Hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. I'll try to have this resolved by tomorrow. And we'll just stream more. But thanks again, everybody. I will try to see you tomorrow.
Can you try to stream earlier tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll try. I'll do my best. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sweet dreams.